Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday evening class. This is our Creative Living series, which is a spirit group that we're offering. The first, I think, 10, 11 weeks, we hired Solomon to come in and facilitate the group, and we have a series of lessons that we're planning for you in the coming weeks. Tonight is about awakening our inner wisdom, and I'm going to facilitate this for you. Many of you who are more deeply involved in metaphysics will understand some of this material, and for some of you who are new, it might be very new to you. So I'm going to go over a variety of things that you might use in awakening your inner wisdom, which is one of the things that we spend a lot of time talking about here at the center. Our teaching is a New Thought teaching. It's the New Thought movement, in case you don't know, originated in the 19th century, and it emphasized the power that we have, all of us, within us as individuals, and that we can create our own reality, our life experience through, finding out how to use that power, awakening. It's dormant for many, but it's within all of us. So we want to learn how to influence our reality and our circumstances through positive thinking, positive expectancy, having an awareness or developing an awareness of the connection that we all have to what we call this inner power. Some of you call higher power. But whatever you call it, it's something that you have, it's available to you, it's in you, operating through you, and it's operating in everyone else as well. People who are in New Thought see life from what we'll call a metaphysical perspective. Most of us are developing an intuitive sense that these powers are available to us, they are within us. So as we say in the Louise Hay meditation, deep within you, there is an infinite well of love and intelligence. It's there, it's available for us to use. Once you awaken it, the power we're talking about today, you will learn how you can think yourself into health, you can change your circumstances, you can heal your life. You Can Heal Your Life was the title of the book that Louise Hay wrote. Louise Hay was a student at this very center, this church, years ago, and she was learning the very same concepts and lessons that we teach you here. And the idea of thinking yourself to health is that the mind and your body are really intimately connected. Louise Hay had cancer twice, for example, and she had several operations, and she realized that unless she got at the underlying pattern in her thinking, that she would most likely have a reoccurrence of that disease. So our mind and body are connected. I learned about this when I was younger. Back in the 1970s, there was a Dr. Benson from Harvard, and he was one of the first that I can remember claiming that the mind can have an impact on your physical healing and much else. He believed in centering ourselves and breathing and calming ourselves and working with affirmations. Soon thereafter, there was Dr. Siegel. Some of you remember he had several very popular books. And he emphasized the importance of developing positive expectancy and wrote that people had within their minds, the power to improve disease and to cure disease, or certainly influence the recovery. Most people did not know that they had that power, and they still don't for the most part. I mean, in New Thought circles like this, we talk about our healing power all the time. But in the world, I have friends, very well-educated friends, and it's all about their doctor and their relationship with their doctors. And certainly, we're big believers in, the advancements of medicine, and particularly antibiotics and surgery have been quite remarkable. But we also speak here about the healing power that we possess. We have power to heal our bodies. We have power to change our circumstances. We have power that we can draw on that can create great success in our lives. After Bernie Siegel and his very popular books, I think it was only a couple years later, Louise Hay came along, and as you know, she wrote the book You Can Heal Your Life, which was an international bestseller, one of the it's just one of the most popular books written in recent decades. And she was suggesting and claiming that you have power to heal. And then more recently, after her book, there was a slew of books that came out by Deepak Chopra, Dr. Andrew Weil, and many others. And all these folks were experiencing the way our thoughts and our emotions and our behavior can affect our health and our circumstances. It was discovered that stress and negative thinking, emotions can definitely contribute to the development of illness and disease, and they really impact our ability to heal. Positive thoughts, in contrast, and developing a healthy mindset, which means stop carrying around resentments and anger and all that negativity. If we can turn that around, we can develop positive expectancy in every area of our life, we will speed our healing and we will speed our recovery, and also will bring forth manifestations and demonstrations in our lives where we'll see improvements in our relationships, improvements in our jobs, and just improvements all around. So that speaks of the law of cause and effect. That speaks of the law of correspondence. And it really speaks to our thinking and our belief system, which you hear me talk about in just about every lesson. The question I want to bring up next is, for anyone who's new, is how do you use this power? And how do we awaken this inner power? Well, first of all, in answer to how you use this power, I want to say you're always using it. If you're new and you're thinking, what does he mean by that? I'm saying life is responding to you. If I'm thinking negatively and I'm distraught or I'm worried, I'm creating that in my life. I may not realize it. I don't think anybody would will pain and suffering upon themselves, but this power that we have within us responds to us where we are right now. Every Thursday I ask the question, what has it been like being you this week? Because I'm wanting people to check themselves out and pay attention to what they're thinking. If you're filled with negativity, it's not your fault. It's just your training. If that's where you're coming from, like, what's the worst that can happen? If you keep on thinking that way, you're really putting yourself in a place where you're always dwelling on the worst case scenario. And that's really not the place you really want to go, because if I'm dwelling on worst case scenario and I'm coming from a place of fear, that's really where I'm putting my time and my attention and my focus. And vibrationally, I'm going to be attracting a lot of that stuff to me, and I really don't want it. But, this is what people do. Now, that's not necessarily a constructive use of your power, as you can all see. A constructive use of your power would be being resolute, being determined that I'm going to change my thinking. I have power within me, and I want to use it. I want to use it to my benefit. So I really want to change my thinking so I can change my life. This is the way it works. Whatever God there is, it's been said 1,000 different ways over the years I've heard, it's not working against us, it's working for us. Even when it brings you into circumstances that you deem to be negative and unpleasant, those circumstances that you're experiencing that are painful are there to teach you. You've brought them in by virtue of your thinking, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and You have the power to transmute them, to to learn from them. But here's the thing. You don't have to go through every negative experience. You might think that you do, but you don't. There's an old saying down there, but it's a story from 12-step programs about the hole in the sidewalk, where you go out the door, you go around the corner, you fall in the hole. And you do it the next day. And then the next day you go down the steps, out the door, around the corner, and there's a hole in the sidewalk, and you fall in again. Well, if you keep going through that, eventually you're going to get a new thought, and you're going to think, I can take another road. And that's the way this works. If we have within us all these old ideas, and God knows where they came from. They could have come from our families, or been with us for years, but they clearly are not working to our benefit. Then we can take a pause, and we can make a decision and learn to use this power to our benefit. How do you awaken it? Most people don't think they have power. Well, you do have power, but most people aren't paying attention to it. A lot of people suggest we ought to slow down, take a pause, slow down so we can learn to listen. So some of the suggestions that have been made, I checked my notes. People start out with affirmations generally. You use affirmations to build up your consciousness of positivity and develop positive expectancy. The other thing that's great about affirmations is if you're affirming that you're whole and complete, and you're healthy and wealthy and wise, or you're affirming that you're loving and lovable, you're affirming that you're one with life, and that you're supplied and supported. If you don't believe that's true, what usually happens for most of us, something comes up for us that says, oh no, you're not that. You're really not that swift, you're not good enough, you're not whatever. And that's really great when you get that reaction, because that is showing you within yourself these negative thoughts that are buried beneath the surface. Because we walk around, we try to dress up, we try to look presentable, we try to take care of ourselves. But if we have underneath the surface a lot of negative thoughts and thinking about life and about ourselves running, that is the stuff that shows up in our life. So when we're doing affirmations and they don't ring true, and when what comes into your awareness is, oh no, you're not that, that's really great, because you've struck gold. You're starting to see where you have unbelief, where you have blocks. We talk about it. We have BS. You all know what BS means. So we have a racket. We have a bunch of underlying thoughts and thinking that will say that we're not great. There's something wrong, or there's something missing. And so that's where affirmations and denials are very, very important. You keep working with the affirmations. They help build up your consciousness. And when they don't ring true, that indicates to you, where the work is. So apart from writing out affirmations and denials, just keep doing them, keep working with them. Get excited about your affirmations. The other thing is, beyond affirmations, another tool that's wonderful is meditation. And meditation doesn't, you might say, I don't know how to meditate. Meditation doesn't have to be anything complicated. You take a pause and you can sit and you can just pay attention. You might ask the universe for, you might throw out a question when you're sitting with yourself and just see what comes up within you. Because the information comes from within you. You are directly connected to source. So another thought in terms of learning how to access this power within, other than meditation and working with affirmations and denials, is most of us, haven't really, you've heard, don't die with the music still in you, right? Most of us have a lot of things within us that we've not yet expressed. We came into the world to express life and to do so abundantly. And most of us maybe don't have a big enough vision. And so it might be a good idea for you to create what we call a vision board. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on a board, but many people use like a large piece of cardboard, but you can actually do it in a journal where you imagine the things that you want for yourself. Maybe it's, you come here to do great things, and so we operate with a small perspective oftentimes. So with a vision board or maybe a vision notebook where you're journaling, you really allow yourself to dream and then put it down. Dream what your life could look like if you got yourself together physically or had more strength, or if you could be working the kind of occupation that you'd love doing. Allow your mind to go out there and explore that and journal it, write it down, and create this vision, and then get excited about your vision. Get excited about your life. The thing about the universe is it responds to these big ideas. It doesn't pay too much attention to the small stuff. But the bigger the vision you can create, you watch how the universe brings that or something better to you. So this class is about accessing the power within. Well, first of all, know that you have it. Then secondly, start again working with affirmations and build up that consciousness. Understand that the negative stuff that may come up, if it comes up, again, that's an opportunity for you to heal it. So you can start doing your affirmative prayers or your denials to, for example, again, I might be affirming that I'm, very successful and very happy, and then what might come up for me is, no, you're not, and you're not happy. Well, so that's, instant feedback. Where does that instant feedback come from? The feedback comes from your inner self, which is really, this is wonderful to know that you have this tool within you, okay? Not only does it speak to you, it responds to you in the sense, if you're saying something that's positive, you're trying to, lift your vibration and your vision higher, and you want to get excited about it. If there's something within you that's holding you back, it becomes revealed to you, and that's where you do your work. If you have an idea that comes up that says, oh, no, you're not, you're not that at all, that's where you go in and you do your denials, and you'll say, I release the need for this negative thought, and I replace it with such and such. And I am whole and complete and healthy and wealthy and good and wise and whatever it is. So we're always doing our work in consciousness. We're working with our inner selves. We're not looking outside of ourselves. We know that we have this creative power, this creativity, this higher power within us, and that it responds to us. I might suggest writing in a journal consistently about what you want to experience in your life. This can be an amazing experience. Any of these tools I'm talking about now, from affirmations to affirmative prayer, journal writing, or creating a large vision, a vision board or vision notebook for yourself, can have great consequences, positive consequences in your life. You'll amaze yourself, is what I'm saying. If you're new to the teaching, I'd recommend, again, starting off with the affirmations and then learning how to refute the negative stuff that comes up. And then across the board, you want to have the willingness to let go of negative beliefs, judgments, resentments. We want to forgive ourselves for every last thing we've ever done. And not only, you got to start with you, right? But then naturally you want to extend that to everybody. So this is an important idea of realizing that you have power to use, and we're giving you some concrete suggestions of how to use it tonight. I'm kind of like throwing it all your way. You can, of course, take what you like. So So start with the affirmations and move on to learning how to do affirmative prayer. We will do eventually a whole class on affirmative prayer. And maybe consider start journaling about the kind of life that you want to have. That's the idea of creating a vision board. And let your imagination go wild with that, on the kind of life you would like to live. I believe your inner voice starts speaking to you and comes through in this process. Then from these kind of activities, if you have the willingness to create this master vision for your life, if you allow yourself to dream big, you're going to start to realize that Spirit is acting on these strong intentions and beliefs. You'll start to see demonstrations, from this type of thinking. And the more passionate you get about it, the better. This evening, I wanted to introduce also some of these new thought ideas and principles. Nothing I'm teaching here tonight or presenting is particularly complicated, but I do know that people have resistance from some of this. And so I'm reminded of an old saying from a 12-step program: willingness is the key. See, you can go as far as you want to go with this teaching. You really can transform your life. The only thing that needs to get out of the way is you. Emerson wrote about that when he talked about, he said, he asked us to get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits. So he's trying to suggest that we're infinite beings, right? And we're here to, experience great lives, really fantastic lives. And he said our bloated nothingness gets in the way of the divine circuits. So all he's really getting at that, and it's amazing that he could write something like that over 100 years ago, but he was saying we get in our own way. If we get all the nonsense out of the way and we have the willingness, the universe will bring us to great places. If you can dream great dreams and you can develop a master mind, a visualization, and you keep working with your affirmations and build up your consciousness, you can have the kind of life you've never dreamed possible. So I can add different things. Something that was told to me when I was much younger is you've got to want it. It's really an important saying. This stuff won't come true for you unless you really want it. You need to be singularly minded in knowing that I deserve a great life. I want a great life. And, that's what, we talked about developing bigger buckets when you're approaching the ocean of life, as you've heard in the Louise classes. You've got to want it, and you've got to know you deserve it, and allow yourself to, as Emerson talked about, hitch your wagon to the stars. Don't dream small, create your vision boards, imagine yourself having everything that you've ever dreamed of. And get excited about it. If you can't get excited about your own life, who is going to get excited about your life? So this is really always going to be about you and you. And the thing about this is you go into like Louise Hay, she would say, when you really love yourself, really and truly, everything in your world begins to change. Because you're going to make better decisions. You're going to be in different types of relationships ultimately. You're going to be in different types of work experiences because you have a bigger vision for yourself. You're really going to be about your Father's business. You remember that old quote from the New Testament. You're going to be about the bigger idea. You don't have time for the pain. You just really, look, been there, done that, bought all the t-shirts. I'm here for something bigger. Deep within us is an infinite well of love and light, Louise Hay said. So, you have access to all of it. But the thing is, if you're approaching life playing life as a small player, and you don't think you deserve much, then it's not going to happen for you. So we start always with the idea, the concept that you have power. You have amazing power within, awesome power, amazing power. And I know it's hard for you to believe when we look at our lives and we look at our situations, the things we've experienced, we forget. Some of us have never even realized. And often we feel powerless. Most of us have been there where we have experienced doubt and fear, remorse and guilt, shame. I know most people on this broadcast, in all of our broadcasts, are longing for more. And you can have more. You can have a great life. You can have a much bigger life. You have within you access to unlimited wisdom and power. Most of you have heard of the law of cause and effect, or you might know it as the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, and you might want to know how it works. Basically stated, the law of cause and effect is a fundamental principle of the universe that states every action has a corresponding reaction. The law is also known as the law of karma in many spiritual traditions. And you've heard before, it's done unto you as you believe, right? So according to this law, every thought we think and every word that we speak creates an effect that influences our lives and in the lives of others as well. This means that we're all responsible for the effects that we create. You know, we're responsible for the positive ones and the negative ones. And the effects of our thoughts, you know, are seen in our world. You know, keep thinking negatively. Won't take long before you'll see you'll have the negative experiences. Keep being the person who forgives. Keep being the person who has the elevated consciousness. You have no resentment. You know, keep being the person who is extending love and forgiveness, and just watch your world change right before your eyes. Keep being the person who sees yourself as a great success and has a big vision for your life. You'll probably have some big problems, but you know, if you have a very big vision, you know, you're creating from a far more expansive place. So we do our work in mind, we do our work in consciousness. We have this awesome power that's responding to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's absolutely no need to look above to the heavens. The law of cause and effect is often represented as a cycle where we think something, right? And that's the cause, and then we experience the effect. By understanding this law and how it works, we can take charge of our thinking and actions, and then we will see different manifestations, as I said, in our world, and we'll see them rapidly. We can learn how to avoid a lot of pain and a lot of negative consequences as we start to work with this law. We will also begin to see that our thinking and our actions have an impact all over the place in our lives and others, as I said. So let me give you an affirmation that I use. I like using I am it, I have the power, I am one with the power, I'm one with the one, I'm good, I'm a success, I am loving and I'm lovable, I am forgiving, I have power within me that responds to me. These are all really wonderful affirmations and very powerful if you get behind them. In any situation, I will say, have said for probably 30 years, this is God or good in my life. This is God operating in my life. Or the younger generation will say, it's all good. And the fact is, it is, because it's there for something. We want to get to the point of awareness where we realize that we're living in this perfect life. I know that it's easy to get off track. I get off track myself often, but I'm pretty well trained to bring myself right back as soon as possible. One thing's for certain, if I don't change on the inside, nothing's going to change on the outside. If I'm looking for things to change on the outside, good luck. It doesn't usually work that way. I mean, you might occasionally, something might happen, you might think, okay, I just had some good luck. But the way it really works is from the inside out. So the change you're looking for starts within. It's not likely to come the other way around. Most of you know the outer world changes for us as we learn to think differently and more expansively. Our center was studying the book Good to Great probably 4 years ago now. In the book Good to Great, there was a suggestion by the author that we needed to develop what was called a BHAG. And for those of you who don't know what BHAG means, it's BHAG. It's big, hairy, audacious goal. The author was suggesting we need to have this huge goal for ourselves, something really big. The center has one because we had no people and we needed to grow. Our attendance, COVID hit and everybody left. So we knew we needed to create a new kind of center and put a demand on consciousness. And we're just beginning, and we're growing, and you know, because we have a big goal. Do you have a big goal for yourself is the question. So this is where a vision board could be really helpful, or if not, having a journal where you can, you know, flesh it out. We want to get clear, and we need to have some big ideas for our vision. You might jot down outlandish ideas, ideas that are bigger than you ever thought possible, things you don't think are quite possible. Often you'll hear me talk about, quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, because he said, hitch your wagon to the stars. Same idea as having the big, hairy, audacious goal. Same idea. We need to approach, as we speak about often, the ocean of life with bigger buckets, because we have inside of us ideas that are yearning to come forward. So we want to commune with this inner wisdom. We want to calm ourselves down each day and commune with it, and start using very powerful affirmations, bigger ideas, and think some very expansive thoughts into mind, and let the universe do the work. Our part of it is letting ourselves imagine the very best of the best, and affirming it's here, and it's mine, and it's mine now. And allow that guidance to come in, because it will. There's a part within you that will always inform you, either in the moment or might be the next day, but you'll get the guidance you're looking for. Please don't get too busy for this. At a minimum, I would suggest tuning in with us on these calls once or twice a week, and then start doing some daily work yourself, right? I mean, because we're always going to be here to remind you, but the thing is that I don't think is enough. I think, you know, this is a daily practice. Start taking some of the next steps so you have a daily practice going on, so you're keeping this conscious awareness alive more often. The vid you're wanting to experience is not far off. It's very close, and you can start experiencing some of the things we're talking about very quickly. Again, affirmations, I would suggest, I am one with the one, I am one with power, I have power, there's no limits. Allow yourself to be really outrageous and dream really big dreams. It can seem strange, it can seem scary in the beginning. Most of us are embarrassed. We start seeing ourselves as being powerful, and you know, some of our old training kicks in, but you know, here's the thing, you're not here to play small, and life is brief. So you're here to shine, and you're not here again to play small. A lot of people are very terrified of being authentic and expressing themselves and stepping out of their comfort zones, loving themselves radically and saying, this is me, and it's good. What it is, whatever I am is good. And you know, and begin affirming, I love myself, I have everything I need right now. I'm an inlet and outlet of God consciousness, spiritual activity. There's a creative power within each one of us, and we can each use it to transform our lives, because the thing is, nobody can do it for you except you. So we got to inquire within. I want you to all know that it's there, and you know, you won't take my word for it. So the thing I'm suggesting is this is what every religious science teacher has ever said to me, is begin to practice it yourself. Lift your sights higher, keep affirming good things, and keep releasing anything and all things negative, and understand that other people are doing the best they can with the information that they have, the information, understanding, and awareness. Hold everyone harmless, hold yourself harmless. Know that you live in a perfect world and you have access to incredible power, knowledge, information, and it's all there for you. The most important thing we can do is learn to tap into that power that is a part of us. Each of you are one with it. You have an internal guidance system. And if you allow it to guide you, it will take you to great places.